Hi FlossTube, it's Robin. Thank you for visiting here at my channel, Lady Robins. I'm Lady Robins here and also on Instagram. So if you want, you can follow me on both places and see what I've been stitching. Welcome to my channel. I am thrilled to have you here. I'm going to start with, so it doesn't drive you crazy, because you know it always drives me crazy. Show me your t-shirt. All right, you guys, this is an oldie but a goodie. This is Star Wars. This is from Rogue One, which was years and years and years ago. I think you might remember that movie. I remember that movie. I think that was the first Star Wars movie that came out in, I don't know how long. And we had friends. Oh my gosh, I think we had 4 couples. We all went, we blocked seats together. Oh my gosh, we had the best time. Anyway, when I wear this t-shirt, it reminds me of friends and going to the movies and my love of Star Wars. I love all things kind of silly like that. I like science fiction and fantasy. So anyway, there you are. You don't have to wonder through the whole FlossTube what my t-shirt says. Star Wars Rogue One. Oh my goodness. You guys, I want to do a quick thank you to Becca of Sambry Stitches. She did an interview with me a couple of weeks ago and it launched on Sunday, Saturday, whatever day that was. And I just have to tell you, I did watch it and she did a great job. We had a fantastic time visiting. So Becca, thank you so much for interviewing me, for putting that up, letting me talk about all the things that I wanted to. You didn't edit me. I had way too many rabbit trails on that video. That's just the way my head works. So Becca, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to do that. It was a complete blast for me. I had so much fun talking to you. And as you can tell, I talked a lot. That was a super long interview with a FlossTuber. All right. Today is the 25th of August. It's about 7:30 in the evening. So that means in my lovely mug of the week, this time we are in Memphis. Memphis always reminds me of my days of working at Northwest Airlines, because one of the hubs for Northwest Airlines was Memphis. So I went through Memphis a number of times, but most often it was just to change aircraft. I never got to see Graceland or any of those things, and I regret that now. I wish I would have taken the time to get out of that airport and look around. But anyway, Memphis is our mug of the week, and our beverage, it's water. It's 7:30. I thought about making a latte, I really did, but it would be great for stitching because I'd be awake for hours and hours and hours, but it wouldn't be so great for sleeping. So I decided just to go with the water tonight, you guys. All right. I had another really nice stitching week. I stitched on, I'm looking down at my planner. I stitched on 4 different pieces this week. So I will show you what I have been up to. All right. So I am sneaking up on a finish. If you caught my Instagram today, I am sneaking up on a finish on the Plant Kindness. And where, this is so funny. It's not in my project bag. Where did I put that doggone thing? Oh, wait a minute. Wait. I had to go over to my parents' house and I was in the middle of stitching, and so I had things everywhere. So I threw things into bags that they weren't supposed to be in, so my piece ended up in the wrong bag. But anyway, here we are on Plant Kindness. All right, I need to do a better job of FlossTube and like iron things, because I stitch in hand, things get really rolled up, but there we are. I am getting those two, I've just got 2 sides left to get our border to match up. And then I've got some stitching on the interior of the border to do. So I think I'll have this finished next week without a doubt. I am really excited to get this done. And I can't decide where I'm going to hang it. I definitely want to frame it, and it might end up in here, you guys. You might see this back there somewhere, up there where there's blank space. I think I might put it in here. I don't have any stitching up on the walls here in my craft space, so this might finally break that habit of not putting stitching in here. All right, so that was my first one. That is a chart by Little House Needleworks, and I never can remember what I stitched it on, but I always put it down in the show notes. So if you're curious, I know it's on a Lakeside linen. That one I know for sure. I can't remember if it's 28 or 32 count, but I keep a list of all my whips and then I just import them in when I do my show notes. So if you're curious, you can read the show notes and it'll solve the mystery for both of us. Okay, so that's the first thing that I worked on this week, Plant Kindness by Little House Needleworks. So that is finishing up really fast. And the next thing I stitched on this week is something that I have not worked on in a long time, and this is definitely going to be stitched on more in September. I know there's people that are talking about September being sampler September. I don't think that's going to be my focus. My focus is just going to be fall stitching and fall pieces and try to get things finished up. Now, this is Fresh Picked Pumpkins by Barbie Petal Pusher. And here I was smart. I put my tag from the linen right on my chart, so I can tell you immediately that this is being stitched on a 32 count linen. The color is Lambswool. So let me show you where I got on this one. I got quite a bit done on this. When I showed this to you last week, the only thing that I had done was this big pumpkin in here and part of this. So I was able to start and finish this pumpkin, the lantern, and then I got this this part, center part of that pumpkin finished. Well, not finished. Started, not finished. There's a yellow wick to the candle, which I did not put in, but it's not missing. It's just that I know that there is a yellow pumpkin coming up, which is going to be in the same color. So I thought, well, when I'm stitching on that pumpkin, I will put the wick in the candle lantern at that point. So this is coming right along. I definitely am going to put an emphasis on this one in September, because wouldn't it be fun to have that finished for October? I think it would be. So I'm definitely going to be stitching on this one a lot in September. I would love to get this guy finished. It's been languishing on my shelf, so time to step it up on that one. And I love Barbie Petal Pusher. I love her charts, and I purchased way back in in March, after market, she put one out called Evergreens, and so I would love to finish up this pumpkin one and then have a start on Evergreens. So I'm thinking if I get this finished up, I'm going to reward myself with a start on that chart. And if you haven't seen it, head over to Barbie's, I think she has an Etsy shop. It's called Petal Pusher. And take a look at it. It's really super pretty. Lots of greens. Greens and blues are my favorite. I love those cool colors. And I just would love to stitch that. If you saw my Instagram post this weekend, I was stitching out at my parents' cabin. It's my favorite place in the planet. I just love the cabin. I love being out on that little lake. It's a little lake. It's about that big. It doesn't allow gas-powered motors on it, so no jet skis, nobody water skiing. It's pretty calm, electric motors only, of course, personal power. I did kayaking this weekend, which was super fun. And that lake is just so relaxing, and I love sitting out on the deck in the front and sitting there stitching and watching kayakers go by or people on paddle boards. That's always fun. So I'm hoping, anyway, oh, sorry that I kind of rabbit trail, just like my interview with Becca, right? I was thinking that if I do the evergreen piece, there's lots of trees out at the cabin. I thought that would be a really fun place to put evergreens since there's so many out there. So that's what I'm thinking on that. I was commenting to my husband today that since we've been home and I've done so much stitching with the quarantine, our walls are going to get filled up really quick. I might have to find other places to put stitching, so maybe out at the cabin there'll be a few cross-stitch pieces out there. Okay. The next thing I stitched on was my beloved Bent Creek. I love Bent Creek, and I'm doing their Summer SnapperLand series, which I showed this last week in my FlossTube. It's 4 charts, and then there's a free border. So you can stitch them individually, of course, or you can stitch them all together and make this really cool scene. And they even have a picture on the back of, I don't know if that's focusing for you or not, probably not. Anyway, there's a free border on their website, and I decided that I wanted to do it all together. And my goal this week was to finish card number 1, which is this guy, the Whale House. And so I got all of the cross stitching finished. So I'm really excited about that. Now, I'll just show you the finish. What I didn't do, however, was any of the back stitching because, you know, I fold this up and I stitch in hand, and so there's a couple of long stitches on here, which I don't know if you can really see that well. Down here, they're supposed to be like long beach grass. And so I'm thinking maybe I want to wait until the thing's completed to put in those stitches so I don't stretch them. And anyway, so even though it doesn't look finished, the cross stitching is finished, just kind of the specialty back stitching things are not done, but that's okay. It was my goal to finish that card, and so I did. And I'm really happy about how that is coming along. And then on this, I'm just looking at the back of the card. This one I know I'm doing all the called for. And so the linen on it is a 32 count Thru green by Whitehead. And then I didn't do any floss substitutions, so it's all the colors that they called for, and it's a lot of I think it's mostly Weeks and Gentle Arts sampler threads, so it's gonna look great when it's done. So that was the third thing that I stitched on this week, and the fourth thing I stitched on was from the Scarlet House. I stitched on Autumn Alphabet, and I've showed this one a number of times, and on last week's FlossTube, sorry, getting thirsty, let me grab a drink here. Okay, on last week's FlossTube, I had said I wanted to finish this border all the way around, and I did. I got it all finished. So there it is. And I got 3 of the letters in there. I got a little bit further than I thought. And those letters stitch up really quite quickly. And let's flip that around so you can see that. Isn't that pretty? Really like this one. And this, I know I'm stitching it on a 40 count linen. I don't recall the color off the top of my head, but I'll put it in the show notes for you guys. And so my plan this week is to get more of the alphabet finished on this guy, which I think I'll be able to. I've got to tell you a funny little confession. Got the hiccup, sorry. I usually stitch 2/2. That's my favorite. So this is stitched 1/2. So I finished, I think I finished, it doesn't matter, but I think I finished the T, right? And I'd finished up my little strand of floss. And so I reached down, picked up the floss to put floss in my needle so I can, move on to the next letter. And I started stitching it, and I looked at my work and I thought, well, that doesn't look right. What the heck? And so I thought, well, maybe I've got the wrong color. Nope. I put 2 strands of floss in it. I am such a creature of habit. So I was trying to stitch 2/2 on 40 count. It didn't work very well. Luckily, I only got like the first little row on the top of the U before I realized what on earth I was doing. So I quickly frogged that out, started again. I'm like, oh, now I've got more room. I can see why this was not working for me. Oh my gosh. Did you guys do that? Do you have things where you're just such a creature of habit, even though it doesn't make sense, you're doing it anyway? That happened to me this week. That's okay. Who cares, right? It's all good. So those were the 4 things that I stitched on. Now, what are my going forward plans? So as you guys know, I love Jen Lee's 24 hours of cross stitch planner. So here's my record of what I stitched this week. We've just got one little week left here in August. And then I also looked at my August acrostic. Now normally on the acrostic, I will give myself a goal of, okay, I want to stitch, I don't know, 2 hours or 4 hours. This time, all I did on my acrostic is I counted it done if I stitched on it. And I didn't care if I stitched 30 minutes or if I put in 500 stitches. If I stitched on it, it got a little X, or got a little check mark. So the only things on my acrostic that I don't have check marks on are these 2 whips. So I'm going to show you what they are, and you'll remember them. I have not stitched this month on this guy, Playing with Jacks by the Cricut Collection. So this is definitely one of my whips that I am going to work on this week, and I'll show you where I'm at. I am here. So definitely going to work on playing with jacks. And I'm just wondering, I put the card in it from the linen, so I can tell you here what I'm doing. I am stitching on 28 count linen, and it is Vintage Country Mocha. Vintage Country Mocha. And it is a gorgeous fabric. There is a lot of yummy modeling on this. Every time I open this piece up, I tell myself, oh, that's right, I like that Vintage Country Mocha. So I am definitely going to work on playing with jacks. That is my first whip that is getting some time this week. And then the other one that doesn't have a check mark by it is this one. It is, I'm not going to take it out of the baggie. You can still see it. Land That I Love by Teresa Kogut. So I haven't touched this in weeks, and I don't have much done. Just that little bit. So I want to get some good time on this guy. So playing with jacks, Land That I Love. The other one, and I don't know where I put it. I think it's out in the family room. I'm kind of a rogue stitcher. You know, I'll stitch in the family room for a while, then I'll stitch in the living room, then I'll stitch here in the craft room. my stitching goes everywhere. But that's okay. I get a different view. It goes to the cabin, right? So anyway, I'm going to put some time in on Land That I Love. Now, the other one that I need to get some good time in on is the Frankenstein sow. Frankenstein starts next Saturday, the 29th of August. So I want to get my border, I want to at least get Frankenstein stitched on the border. I'm thinking maybe I will not complete it all the way around. My thinking is this: if I get off somewhere around, you know, in that border, it's only going to show up when I'm stitching the, you know, the chart, right? So I just want to give myself the opportunity to not have to frog in case I mess up on the border. So I'm going to be just concentrating on getting Frankenstein stitched in the middle, and, you know, maybe down the left-hand side, and maybe across the bottom part way and across the top. I think I've got all the top done, but I'm not going to complete it just in case I need a little wiggle room. So that's my thinking. Okay, I want to tell you guys about a couple of FlossTubers that I found because of other FlossTubers. I just had so much fun watching FlossTube this week while I was stitching that I just want to call out a couple of people that are new to me who I thoroughly enjoyed. So the first one I want to call out is Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. She is delightful. You guys really need to go watch Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch if you're not watching her already. She was new to me. I think YouTube suggested her to me. I think that's how I found her. Anyway, I just loved her. I totally loved her. I loved what she was stitching. I kind of liked her. She did a finishing tutorial. Really cool. Anyway, Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch was fun. Go check her out. Another one that I watched that was new to me this week is Bent Needle FlossTube. And Erin the Two Martini Stitcher called her out, and same thing. I thought she was delightful. I loved her. Hold on one second. Hi guys, I'm back. Okay, I decided that I should go and find my Frankenstein since I was talking about it. And here it is. So my goal is to get Frankenstein put in all the way across. That is my goal for this one. And this I am stitching on, got my little card here, Picture This plus vellum, and it's a 32 count linen. So in case you're not catching it, 32 is kind of my sweet spot, it seems. So now we're all up to date on Frankenstein. All right, and back to FlossTubers that I watched. I was telling you that I found Bent Needle through Erin the Tumorous Teeny Stitcher. Bent Needle is fantastic. I liked the items that she was stitching. I enjoyed her editing. She does quite a bit of editing on her videos. She inserts cute little comments as she's going through. We got to see her dog on her latest FlossTube, which was really fun. And she is stitching on some really awesome pieces. I think you would enjoy her. I think her first name is Liz, I think. Don't hold me to that. I could be wrong. But anyway, Elizabeth Ann can stitch and Bent Needle were two new FlossTubers to me. So if you're looking for new people to watch, I would highly recommend those. I do not have much haul. I was super lucky. I was able to get a spot in a Fabric of the Month club, which I have never done. And I want to show you my fabric. It's right next to me. I'm hoping not to throw things into my cup of water. Give me just a second to unearth it. It's right here. Okay, so I signed up with Brandy of Be Stitch Me Fabrics, and I got my first floss of the month. Sorry, this is kind of crinkly. It is this yummy stuff, and it's in the color Mocha. And can you see the yummy modeling? This is very similar to Vintage Country Mocha. I think it's a tad bit darker, but I just talked about how much I love Vintage Country Mocha. I love this just as much. I am thrilled to be in Brandy's Fabric of the Month club. So that was my first time. I think it's a winner. She does two clubs. So one is kind of your neutral club, and then one is, what does she call it? Colorful? Colorway? Anyway, it's things that are way more bright. I decided to be a little cautious. I've never done a Fabric of the Month club, so I went for the neutrals, and I gotta say, I'm pretty happy. All right, you guys, I am about done. Even though I got quite a bit of stitching done, I don't have lots of haul to show you, which always takes up quite a bit of time on FlossTube, right? So I thought I would give you yet another book recommendation. I will confess, this book I probably talked about 2 months ago. I started it, I'm totally loving it, and then what happened was I went back to work, and I work in a public library, and what happens is books that I own always get shuffled to the side because I've got the time restriction on books that I check out. And so I find that I'm always, you know, reading the library books and then not my own books. And so then my own books that I have picked up end up dusty on my nightstand. So I have dusted this guy off, and I'm looking forward to making some good progress on this. This is the book that I'm gonna kind of dive into again. The Underground Railroad by Colson, Whitehead. And I'm only about 35 pages in. True Crafter bookmark, the Joanne's Receipt. But this is what I'm going to be diving into here next. I am about 2/3 of the way through my Mercy Thompson Storm Cursed book from last week. Cracked me up. One of my friends said, "Hey Robin, you called it Mercy Jackson." I must have had Percy Jackson in my head. So anyway, Mercy Thompson Storm Cursed. But once I finish up that, I'm gonna head back into this because it needs to be read. I was lucky. I got this on our, what is it, Friends of the Library bookshelf at my library. I probably have had this for a year. $2. It was the best deal ever. So anyway, there's a book recommendation for you if you need one. And I think that's it, you guys. I am just thrilled that you came and spent a little time with me. I hope you enjoyed our chat. I hope you got a little stitching inspiration and you'll pick up your needle and fabric and enjoy your time with your projects. All right, you guys, stitch happy. I will see you next week. We are on vacation this week here. We're going to do a few little staycations around the area. We're not going too far. So I might have a lot less stitching to show you next week, or I might have a ton if I can figure out how to stitch in the car. Who knows? It will be interesting next time, but we will have a good time when we're together. All right. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you next one. All right. Bye, guys.